Young World, I'm back doing the second review on the Hip Hop Uncovered series. I did one. The first review I did was like after the first two episodes. I watched it, did a little review. I mentioned in there, I was like, I said it was great, and I was like, but if they don't mention Jimmy Henchman, I was like, that would be kind of weird, because I was like, they gotta mention Jimmy Henchman. Lo and behold, I think it was like three or four, maybe five. They definitely mentioned the Jimmy Henchman connection to hip hop, because at first, when the first two episodes came out, it seemed like the whole entire thing was only going to be built and kind of be told like these five people that were represented on the show is where kind of where everything came from. But and I kind of thought that would have been a little bit weird if it would have went on like that, but it didn't. It expanded, it got way bigger, way more in depth, and it all pulled together and made a lot of sense by the time you watched the final episode. You know what I'm saying? It definitely was told in a real good way. Like, it was real creative. Shout out to Big U because he put it together. And shout out to Big U for even, you know what I'm saying, spotlighting East Coast artists like that. You know, a lot of times, especially people that were deeply rooted into this, deeply invested into the East Coast, West Coast beef type of thing. Like a lot of times, just to be honest, a lot of I see it more with West Coast. Maybe I'm being biased because I'm on the East Coast, but it seems like more West Coast people are hold more bitter still to this day like that. So to see somebody like Big U really give props and give shine to, you know what I'm saying, East Coast people really was, I thought that was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was definitely cool that he did that like that with Deb, Anthony, and Bimmy. You know what I mean? But this definitely went a lot of stuff I learned in this series, man. It was like, it was real informative. Like, I grew up, like I say, like an hour from New York. We got all the music as it came out, maybe a couple minutes later after New York, but everything came to us where I was at in Easton because people were constantly coming back and forth from New York. We constantly were getting all the mixtapes, the radio stations back then. Like, I thought I knew not everything, but most of the stuff. You know what I mean? But this shined a lot of light into the behind the scenes in-depth stuff that was going on. Like, I've been heard of Haitian Jack, heard of his involvement. You know what I'm saying? But he even went into his story a little bit deeper. I heard of Deb Anthony years ago, but I didn't know her fault. Like, I want to see Deb Anthony's story, to tell you the truth. Deb Anthony and Bimmy's story is a whole separate. Deb Anthony by herself and Bimmy by himself is a separate story, but it was saying something about the Anthony family story. That would be real, you know what I'm saying, interesting. You seen Bimmy with Run DMC and stuff back in the day. I think I did see Bimmy somewhere back, not in real life, but like on somewhere or something years ago, but it wasn't nothing you thought of. You wouldn't have known. Like, I didn't know that he was part of the Supreme team. You know what I'm saying? Run DMC, involved all kind of people. LL Cool J. I haven't really never seen Bimmy until the Queen's Flip interview. He started being on Queen's Flip. Was like the really first time I heard of Bimmy. You know what I'm saying? So this whole thing, and then you talked with the Trick stuff. That I heard a little things about Trick, the No Fly Zone, but they was speaking in depth. Even Deb Anthony was like, yeah, we had a few run-ins with Trick, and they was talking about that, how he was holding stuff down in Detroit. This whole thing, man, and then even the Big U part of it, I was kind of sitting there from the beginning the whole time, like, how's Big U going to really get tied into this? We don't know Big U from being in music, but then he's explained the whole Crippin' part of it and how that was kind of born at the same time, and how that the hip hop concerts gave, you know what I'm saying, locations for these beefs and all. It was like the whole thing just went together like real good. So they're saying, and also another thing I like is they're going to be doing more parts of it, because that would even be better, because like I said, it seemed like at first this first series with these five people I thought it was going to kind of try to tell the whole entire history of hip hop through these five people, and I thought that was a little weird from the beginning. But as it was going on, I was getting more invested in the story. But then, as like Big U was saying, there's other people coming back. They're gonna have Jay Rap A Lot Records, Jay Prince might show up, and so it would be good to keep this going, because there's a lot more stories to be told, a lot more behind the scenes stuff that could be, you know what I'm saying, that could be happening. And messing around the Joker, this might open a few minds and a few doors to Joker's actually trying to get back to some type of, not get back to us because it was never had, but some type of ownership or some type of way to take this thing back, if it ain't too damn late already. I mean, like I always say, I already broke down the whole story of how hip hop. On my last channel, I broke it down. I think on this channel, I might have had a video. I might have took it down to town in a nutshell. And I heard a lot of people say this after I said this first, about how the technology with hip hop. I'm not sure if the technology was a coincidence, or if no. I believe that it was not a coincidence. I believe that the technology with music was specifically introduced to keep conquering hip hop as it came out. You went from vinyl records, then people went to cassette tapes. Vinyl records were hard to really do. You can't have a record in your car, so that was like something that was going to die out anyway. So the cassette tape came in. Once Joker started learning how to do the independent thing, record their own songs, their own cassette tapes, then they come out with a CD. So that shut down the whole, because as new technology comes out to be listened to how you consume music, also the hardware that comes along with it changes too. Now cars are coming with CD players as opposed to tape decks. Now it's not cool to have a tape deck no more, because now CD, and not even just because it's not cool, because it's way more convenient to have a CD. So now you got to reconquer the whole CD thing. And by the time Joker's got a hold of the CD, it took a while. The record labels in the industry, the ones that own the industry, were able to capitalize with the CD for a while, because the technology wasn't available yet for every average everyday people to get a hold of it themselves and start recording their own, burning their own CDs. So once Joker started figuring that out and got the hold of the technology to conquer the CD and sell them out their own car, now they come out with MP3s and Napster, you know what I'm saying? And then that was a way for everybody to, that took everything off of hardware and put it only into software, you know what I'm saying? And understand, this stuff was not a coincidence. This stuff was an agenda. It was specifically done like this. As soon as jokers catch up to the technology to do it themselves, they come out with a new piece of technology to keep you back and back and back. So the I don't want to tell this whole story, but the MP3 came out. Everybody, and that's when everything started getting leaked. Nobody's album could stay out of the way, like on the low, till it came out. So that started raping the artists. And then after the Napster and the MP3 and the LimeWire stuff came out, people still, then all of a sudden it becomes now onto the internet, streaming and stuff like that. And even with the MP3, if you remember, it wasn't like how it is now. You just go on there and stream something or hit a button. Like it was very difficult to download an MP3, like to rip a file to have to put it onto your computer back then. It wasn't like now, you know, so you can go right onto your phone and hit download. Back then it was real difficult. You had to have like LimeWire or something like that, or Napster type of thing. It was difficult for you to be out there with the software. Wasn't available yet for you to just press a button and just download an MP3 or a waveform or something that's on the internet like that. They had hold of that for a while before that became easy to do. So once they put it onto streaming and YouTube and Spotify and just strictly software, strictly on the internet, now an artist has no idea of how much their songs are really being heard or really being consumed or listened to, because now they own the internet itself. So now long story short, they took the music from a vinyl record to software on the internet. So now there's no physical way that an artist can really track what the hell is there. And it's like, I think it's equivalent to like 1 billion streams equals like 1 million records sold, or 1 million streams is like 1,000. It's like so ridiculous how they got it, how they have it. But what that did is that makes you have to only rely on electricity and the internet itself. So whoever owns the electricity and the internet is the one who's only really profiting on the stuff, the real big portion of the profit, I should say. But that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? I went too far into it just saying that much right now. I don't want to even say all that. But this is a good background, this hip hop uncovered, of how you can see how this went about to how it got to how it is now. You know what I'm saying? And there was people, some of these brothers that was in hip hop in the back, there was some real business minds and some real entrepreneurs that was there and really could have made stuff happen. But like I said, every time they come out with new technology, a new piece of type of way to consume music, it kind of sets everybody back to the beginning. It makes you have to go all the way back to the drawing board from day one again. You know what I'm saying? South rappers had 1,000 tapes in their trunk. They went and recorded all these tapes on their own, selling them out of the trunk of their car. You can sell them for $5 to your community. If you live in a big city and got a lot of people behind you, you can sell your own tapes for $5, 100,000 of them, and make more money than artists that had deals with record labels that was selling millions of records, getting 10 cents a record, whatever they was getting off, $1 a sell, or whatever, like whatever they was doing, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, the technology kept coming out and conquering that every time somebody got a hold of it. And you also got to recognize like how these, one thing does lead to another. Like Master P, he got the super deal, Cash Money, all these stuff. Things that happened prior is how these people were able to get the next thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother story too. But I just want to say in a nutshell, this definitely was a great series, you know what I'm saying? I can't wait till they come out with a part 2. put some other people on there that would definitely have a lot to say. You know what I'm saying? The people I would like to see on the next one, even though it will be impossible to an extent, you know what I'm saying? Because Suge Knight's locked up, Russell Simmons is in exile somewhere, will be Russell Simmons, Suge Knight, Master P, G Prince, and probably Luke, Uncle Luke from 2 Live Crew. You know what I'm saying? Or even maybe Diddy, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like that to give more backgrounds and see these other stories that happen behind the scenes. And just shout out to everybody involved, man. It definitely was an eye opener. Definitely was entertaining. I definitely was feeling it.